Hello and welcome back to Aha Moments Everywhere. I like to keep my eyes and ears open to receive new aha moments because really, aha moments are everywhere. So my name is Suzanne and I am your intuition coach. So recently I was interviewed by the awesome Joanna DeVoe and we talked about all things intuition and energy. Well, during the interview, I mentioned something about how emotions and feelings are completely different in context to how our intuition moves through our bodies. Well, during the interview, I wanted to go into the subject further about how emotions and feelings are really not the same thing, but I quickly realized that it was a big, huge subject that would take me a long time to unpack in the short time that Joanna and I had together. So I filed away that inner knowing to address this issue on another day. Well, I had filed that intuitive feeling away to address the differences, and then I noticed that someone had commented on our interview about the subject, and they wanted to know what the difference was between feelings and emotions, and to possibly help them understand this with a video response. So as synchronistic would have it, this person's question triggered this particular video. So thank you for Joanna's subscriber for asking for clarification. So the context that I was referring to in our interview was that I observe people being afraid of their intuition because they think that they're going to become all emotional if they start responding to their intuitions. So here is my personal interpretation of why your feelings and emotions are two different responses in your body. And I also want to add that it is important for you to know the difference because if you get in touch with your feelings, you'll have a more expressive life. You'll have better relationships and basically a more purposeful life. Using your intuition will result in better decision making at work or better parenting skills. It will help you create anything of value in your life. It can even benefit you in having better sex. So that alone should be enough reason for you to get in touch with your intuitive feelings, right? So I'll give you an example of a real life situation of feelings and emotions and how those reactions are later on. But first I want to share the more technical stuff. So your feelings are felt in your body from an immediate experience as a result of outside stimuli, reacting with one of your 5 physical senses. But no cognitive thought has occurred. Your brain is not involved in a feeling, but your body is. You could say your feelings are a pre-thought and emotions are an afterthought of what you just felt. So emotions are fabricated through your own thoughts, your memories, or something that has created a biochemical cocktail in the body that changes your physical state. So you could say that feelings are the language of the soul and that consciousness communicates through feelings, and the emotions are the physical results after your brain has processed your consciousness and spits out a thought. So intuition operates in the feeling world, not the emotional world. Feelings are quite neutral in that you just feel what you are feeling without a judgment from your brain. Now, when you become emotional about your feelings, that is when your brain creates drama and you get a biochemical reaction in your body to animate your feeling. So you can think of emotions as energy in motion after you have a feeling about something. Feelings first, emotions second. So feelings are felt by the energetics of your heart even before your brain has time to calculate what you just felt. Then your brain processes the information of that feeling and spits out a chemical reaction fabricated by your thoughts called an emotion. So feelings are sensed by the electromagnetic field generated by the heart that is significantly more sensitive than the electromagnetic field of the brain. So, and you can learn way more about these scientific studies at heartmath.org. And I highly recommend the Institute of Heart Math as your go-to resource for heart and brain coherence studies. So basically, feelings are high-level responses that are your internal personal knowings that you cannot give analytic reason to. You don't know why you feel a certain way. You just do. And emotions are triggered by a thought in the brain. And emotions are lower level responses that are fabricated with the help of chemicals in your body that are produced based on past experiences or fears or crappy programming that you subscribe to, based on outside input. So emotions will sometimes trick you into believing your feelings are valid or not, based on the chemical reaction in your body. So let me give you an example. I used to have an emotional response to the feeling of being scared. And that emotional response was that I would get angry when I was scared. So like if someone came up behind me and spooked me, I would get angry and then maybe laugh after I knew I wasn't in danger. Being angry was a learned behavior to protect myself when I was in a vulnerable position, such as someone, psychologically or physically controlling me. So I learned this about myself due to living through a really scary situation back in, 1996. I think that's when it was. I was in my house and a guy wearing a ski mask attacked me. Without going through all the dramatic details, I was so flippin' scared and I transformed into a crazy animal and fought for my life. So this situation instantly brought me back to an emotional childhood experience where I was abused and everything in my emotional gut was taken out on this guy who had pinned me down and had intended to rape me. So this guy that's in my house, fortunately, I didn't get raped and everything turned out okay and he was caught and, prosecuted, but I know that's a lot of information. But I really want you to recognize that each one of you has emotional responses to feelings. Now, in this case, my anger was what I needed to escape this person's action against me. My gut feeling when this person entered my home was to act powerfully and do whatever I needed to do to protect myself. So my body responded to this knowing of self-preservation and a gut feeling along with a cocktail of chemicals that coursed through my veins, the adrenaline, the cortisol, and whatever else was needed to respond accordingly, right? I became emotional and acted out my emotions through rage. So basically a cocktail of emotions became my energy in motion. Now, mind you, over the years, I have used this experience as a learning tool for myself. Obviously, it's totally inappropriate to respond in this way anytime I'm scared. I now have the wherewithal to check in with my feelings and know if I should respond like a crazy animal or a level-headed humanoid. So, moving forward, my feelings guide the emotional response, not the other way around. Hormonal men and women who are not in touch with their feelings act emotionally from a learned pattern of behaviors that create a chemical response in the body. And then they act from that hormonal and emotional driven place. So here's another example. How many times have you been in love, with someone or something? Most of us have probably been in emotional love more times than we have been in true feeling love. And if we are lucky and we are really in touch with our feelings, we will be able to respond to that object of affection with clarity and gut feelings. So feeling love is more true than emotional love. Now again, emotional love can be deceiving because it's kind of fleeting, while feeling love is a knowing in your gut that does not change or fluctuate. And emotions fluctuate, whereas feelings are more constant and are what intuition is all about. They're your truth. So intuition does not have an emotional bone in its character. And that's why you will often hear me say that intuition is neutral, and it's neutral in nature. So intuition is, it is what it is and it doesn't change. So when our hearts are in coherence with our brains, true love is the result. So we will not only have the feelings of love, but the amazing emotional chemicals to support that feeling of love, and that will also be there. So that is why when our hearts are not in coherence with our brains, our bodies will respond in a schism or a love-hate experience to that object of affection. And when and only when my feelings are in coherence with my emotions, when it comes to love, that is when I know I am in a lasting and loving relationship. So I question my emotions, but I never question my feelings. I have found that my feelings are my truth, always. And you always know what's good for you at a deep level. Our emotions do a good job at masking our feelings in a prepackaged way that might not always be in our best interest. So sometimes, but not always. And if you want a true litmus test on how to operate your life, learn how to get in touch with your feelings and understand your emotional responses to life. Know the difference between your feelings and your emotions, and you will begin to understand yourself better and respond to life as opposed to reacting to life. So it's your responsibility to respond, not react. I mean, unless there's a guy wearing a ski mask in your house, do whatever the heck you need to do to save yourself. And by the way, I had another situation where, oh my God, where a switchblade was held at my neck during a robbery. And this was in East LA. And let me tell you, I did not budge. Every cell in my body responded with a calm, cool, and collect response. My feelings told me to keep it cool, and I did. And my emotional chemistry set sent out calming chemicals, which possibly saved my life. So there you have it. Trust your feelings and allow the beautiful emotions to come from your feelings, not the other way around. And also remember, this takes practice. It takes a lot of practice to be in touch with yourself. But if you don't practice it, you'll feel confused, and you might even experience disconnection to life. And that's why relationships are our best teachers. So if you have any intuitive insights of your own, send them my way. And remember, we are all in this together. And also share this message if you feel moved to, because, I don't have all the answers, but I do have enough curiosity to discover knowings through the questions. So asking a question inspires me to share more with you. So until next time, be inspired and look for miracles in your life everywhere.